欣賞過蒙特卡利亞佢嘅第二長笛協奏曲，由丁堂合奏團帶俾大家。The time right now is 34 minutes past 8, and joining me in the studio live again this week.
Yep.
Missed you last week.
I'm back.
Howard Elias. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Okay, so we are going to be talking about the opening film of the Dutch Film Festival, which begins on Monday. Also, this horror film, A Quiet Place. And you want to begin with something about the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, I was just reading Variety, today's Variety. And Cannes Film Festival is coming up in May. And it's in the news this week for two reasons. Number one is they've officially banned the taking of selfies on the red carpet.
Oh dear!
Now I've been on that red carpet and I have taken a selfie on it. I can't see how they're going to enforce this one. You know, if a big Hollywood star wants to take a selfie, I don't know. You know, what are they going to say? Sorry, you can't come in now. I mean, that's what they say they're going to do. They're going to ban people from coming in. You know, if they take a selfie. I don't see how they're going to do that one. But the other big news that's just out is that Netflix has decided that they're not going to participate in the Cannes Film Festival this year. I don't know if you remember or if you heard. Last year they had two films in competition, and there was a big hoo-ha about it because, you know, these films go straight to Netflix. They bypass the distribution, you know, the cinemas. And the other, the cinemas in France the cinema operators were upset about this. They said, oh, c'est not fair, c'est not égal, ce n'est pas égal. And they got very upset. So now the Cannes Film Festival said, okay, well, if the rules are that you have to delay TV distribution for 3 years. And Netflix says, well, no, this goes against our business model. So, sorry, we're not coming this year.
Maybe they can make a separate category.
Well, they said you can participate. Netflix.
So there are other companies that do that too.
Well, certainly Amazon, right? So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Amazon does now. But yeah, they Cannes Film Festival said, okay, your films can be in the out of competition category. But Netflix has said, nope, not good enough. And I suspect that Amazon will follow suit in the next few days.
Okay, so we'll have to keep an eye on this story.
Yeah, watch that space.
Watch that space. Okay, now I do have to make a warning about what we're going to be talking about next. A warning about the film that we're going to discuss. Its title contains a bit of strong language, and the subject matter is quite disturbing. So please, if you have young children around or whatever, you might want to switch off for a few minutes. But what we'll do is we'll start with you giving us the title of the film, and then please give an explanation of it.
Okay. So just before we start, this is the opening film of the Dutch Film Festival, which is starting on Monday. Just a little brief bit about the festival. There's 5 films. Each of them will be screened twice, all of them at the Grand Cinema at Elements. Interesting, they don't have their own website, so if you want to find out about the films, you have to go to the Grand Cinema's website.
No, they do have their own website. Yes, they do.
They do?
DutchDaysInHongKong.com.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you have the brochure? Because I had the brochure and it wasn't on the brochure.
Yeah, no.
Strange.
It's Dutch Days in Hong Kong altogether.
Okay.
DutchDaysInHongKong.com.
Great. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was strange that they didn't have it. Okay. The name of the film, get ready, kids. Stick your fingers in your ears. It's called Find This Dumb Little Bitch and Throw Her into a River. Now, this film is based on a true story, real events that happened back in 2010.
Horrible.
Back then, a teenage girl, it was learned she was in Bosnia, she's living in Bosnia, a Bosnian girl. She was filmed throwing live puppies into a fast-flowing river. And this video, which was shot by her older brother, was uploaded onto his YouTube page, and it quickly went viral and sparked outrage around the world. And it was reported at the time that Transformers director Michael Bay offered $50,000 a reward of $50,000 for information leading to the arrest and successful prosecution of the girl. Now, they did find the girl, but she got off apparently. She wasn't charged because she was too young.
Wow.
Yeah. So the title, which now that I've said, I'm not allowed to say a second time. Otherwise, Stacey will be.
Please. Come on.
What?
Okay, we heard it the first time.
Okay.
So give an explanation.
So the title is literally, truly what one of the comments was on that YouTube page. Somebody wrote that on the YouTube page. So they're not my words, not the director's words, but somebody else's words. All right. So now this story.
So what it's referencing is this online threat.
It's online threat.
This is what happens with these kids. They've got tons of threats.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it in a way, it's going to be all about social media and the consequences.
It's the price of fame. That's what this is all about, the price of fame. So in this film, the story has now shifted to the Netherlands. So this is a fictional version of real events. So we're now in the Netherlands, and 15-year-old Remco lives with his widowed father Wim and his younger sister Lizzie. And they live somewhere in the industrial heartlands of that country. And Wim, the father, runs an illicit business selling puppies that have been imported from Germany. And the kids actively take part in that business. They vaccinate the dogs, and they feed them, and they help photograph them, and they even dispose of the ones that are too sick to sell online. And as helpful as these kids are, this isn't what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Lizzie wants to be a famous singer, and she auditions for the Dutch equivalent of American Idol and gets a spot. And Remco, he wants to be popular too, but his sphere of influence is really with his friends, who are all just a little bit older than he is. And one day, Remco notices that one of those friends posted a video online, and it was getting a few hits. And he thought, this looks interesting. I want to be popular, because this friend was, popular. He says, I want to be popular too. So he decides to film Lizzie, his sister, tossing these sick puppies into the river. And he uploads it onto his page. And at first, it's all very exciting as his friends think the video is, quote unquote, sick, as in they're impressed. Right?
Yeah, right. The slang now for sick is like...
Yeah, sick is good. Yeah, dope.
Is
yeah.
Like, great. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. But when the video goes viral, it unleashes a storm of indignation from people all over the world. And Remco realizes that he may have put his sister's life in danger. But by then, it's too late, as mob mentality has kicked in. And it seems now everybody, including Michael Bay, wants to find that, quote-unquote, name of the title. Right? Yeah. So, this is a very interesting film because we have today, in this age, we have internet stars with people like PewDiePie and brothers Logan and Jake Paul, and even a 6-year-old toy maven named Ryan, who each earn in excess of $10 million a year on their YouTube channels. I mean, it's insane.
And they even have a award ceremony.
Yeah, it's insane. So the lure to become like these people can be very attractive to young people. And, so you sort of understand why this kid did it. Although it's wrong, right? It's wrong. But the line between what's right and what's wrong has become so blurred. Yeah. Thanks to the Twitter-in-chief in Washington, who puts stuff out there that shouldn't be out there as well. So, your
opinion.
Yeah. Well, you feel sorry for these kids, right? You really do feel sorry for these kids. So the director, his name is Ben Brand. This is his first motion picture, his first commercial release, although he's done some short films. He's won awards for his short films, but this is his first one. And he gives this story a real human flavor, because the real story, I think now they know, certainly they know who the little girl is and her brother, but I don't think the name has ever been made public because she was underage. So, but certainly they did find her. But in the film, also the people do find her, and now the kids have to really run for their lives, literally run for their lives. But these are typical kids who want fame and recognition and acceptance, but they don't understand until it's too late the consequences and the responsibilities that come with these things. Now, parents of teens may see this film, and they'll point a finger directly at the father and say, "Look, well, that's a bad father. I'm a good parent. This will never happen to my kid." Wrong, right? Wrong, because these kids do these things, and parents often don't know, or maybe they think, okay, this is part of growing up. So I think this is a good lesson for both parents and teenagers.
The pressure on to be popular and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know what? Even though it's got a very provocative title, I'd say, you can take your kids to see this film. Certainly, I mean, there are a few four-letter words in the film, but these days kids are saying far worse than that. But
Well, two wrongs don't make a right.
but I think this is a good lesson for kids. Now, as far as the film goes, it can be a little slow going. It seems much longer than its 87-minute running time. Story arcs just get dumped. The handheld camera work, particularly in the opening scenes, can be annoying. And I get why the director did the handheld, because he's sort of emulating what kids are doing with their videos, with their phones. So he's trying to create that atmosphere, but it is a little annoying. But the performances are really good, particularly of the boy. His name is Nino Denbrav. He's been in a few films. I've never seen him in anything. The girl, it was her first film. So you know what? I give this film props because the director is young and the kids are young and they're all relatively inexperienced. Not a great film, but it's a good film, and certainly it's an important film because this is real. This is real life. So I'd say, yeah, check it out. So it opens on at the Dutch Film Festival next Monday night on the 16th at the Grand Cinema. Go see it.
Okay.
See, we got through it, and I only said that name once.
Okay. And let's talk about A Quiet Place.
Okay,
then.
now the
And
big...
This is like, ooh,
yeah, so there's two...
chilling horror film.
There's two big films opening today. One is A Quiet Place, which we'll talk about, and the other is Rampage, which I'm not going to talk about because I haven't seen it. There is a press screening tonight, but I thought... when I think I've said this before, when they do press screenings after the film's already open, it's not going to be good.
Okay.
Unless it's Disney, because Disney always does that. But for other films, it's not going to be good. All right, A Quiet Place. You may have actually heard about this film. This is the film that if you make noise in the cinema, you might just get yelled at by somebody sitting next to you. I mean, a mutual friend of ours who lives in England saw this film last week, and she said somebody's phone rang. And this woman who owned the phone just got verbal abuse heaped upon her for having the phone ring. You have to be very, very quiet when you watch this film.
Because survival depends on silence.
Well, there's actually two reasons. Number one is survival depends on silence. The story is, it's set in the near future, and A Quiet Place opens on a family of 5 who are quietly scavenging for supplies in what looks like a post-apocalyptic upstate New York. And in fact, it was filmed in upstate New York. Somehow, it's funny that certain places, you look at it and you know where they filmed it. And it was upstate New York. The front page of a newspaper billows in the breeze, and we can see the headline that screams, "It's sound." And so these people, they put their supplies on their backs and they quietly make their way barefoot out of town. And it's there where we catch our first glimpse of the thing that has caused this apocalyptic disaster. Now, fast forward a year, and the family is now living in the basement of a rambling house on a corn farm. And as much as they try to normalize their lives, they know that the slightest peep from any of them will bring the creature or the creatures, because at this point we don't know how many creatures are out there, to their home. But a series of tiny incidents...
Well, this happens in so many horror films.
Yeah.
This plot is like old news.
Okay, yeah, but what makes it good, so I just want to finish. So a series of tiny incidents does actually bring the creatures to their doorstep. And now this family has to rely on everything they've learned about survival over the past year to stay alive. So yes, I do agree with you. We've seen this sort of, story arc before, but what makes it different, it's mostly quiet. It's these people, they do sign language. One of their kids is deaf. And in fact, it's played by Millicent Simmons, who was in Wonderstruck, who really is deaf. So they all know sign language. So this is how they communicate. And so there's very, very little talking. Occasionally there's the odd whisper. So this is why, you're quiet because you're getting into it, right? So, you're getting into the way they're living. But also the film, there is sound in the film, and it's so well done that you have to hear everything. So the being quiet has two roles. Number one is to feel the mood, and number two is you don't want to miss the sound that's actually out there. So it's very ingenious, very, very well done. So it's directed by, of all people, John Krasinski. People would know him if you've seen the TV version of The Office.
The
He,
U.S.
the
version.
U.S. version, thank you, the U.S. version of The Office. He was in it. He's married to the British actress Emily Blunt, who plays his wife. This is husband and wife playing husband and wife. This is the first time they've appeared together in a film. In fact, she asked to be in this film. So he was already on board to direct. He didn't want to direct her. She wanted him as her director. So she got the part. And their kids, Millicent Simmons, I said, is their daughter. She's the kid who's really deaf. The son is Noah Jupe. People would remember him from a couple of films this past year, Suburbicon and Wonder. He's got very expressive eyes, this little boy. Those are the two older kids. There's a third child who's very young. I don't know the kid's name, the actor's name. Um, this is really well done. It's so taut. You're going to be on the edge of your seat from the very first scene right to the end. If you're not going to be on the edge of the seat, you're probably going to be up in the air because there's a few times you're going to be jumping.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, that effective.
Yeah, it's very well done. If there's anything I'm going to complain about this story, it's got a few more than a few plot holes. Um, I don't want to reveal. See, I'm saying very little about the story because it's all spoiler. But I'll just say one thing.
I've just read a spoiler.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say it. They're not going to spoil it. I'll just say one of the things that drove me crazy is the nail. So, watch out for the nail. That just drove me crazy. So all right, forget about all the plot holes. You can go with this film, enjoy it for what it is. It is sheer entertainment. It doesn't have the wit that last year's other horror film Get Out, because that was really subversive, that film, because it was scary and funny at the same time. This is just scary and superb film, really, really well done, called A Quiet Place. So when you go, shh.
Not good for radio though.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Howard Elias.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.